Hey there, this is Greg, the Masked Gamer, continuing my Aeon Trespass Odyssey Cycle 4 adventure. I'm not going to do my normal channel intro through this whole series, but if you'd like to see some masked selfies of me, you can check me out at the Masked Gamer on Instagram. I just went to see Paranormal Activity, the play last night, and oh my god, Rachel Bloom, Rebecca Bunch from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was there, and I got a masked selfie with a celebrity. So look at me out there living my life. You can live your life even if you're COVID cautious and you don't get sick. Okay, great. Anyway, where was I? Yes, so we had just defeated the Babylonian lunacy, encounter one. And then we had a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to have to read. And I did a little bit of things to kind of preset all of that stuff as we get started. Let me, here's, you can see a mini of the whole table while I do this. Not that any of it's going to really mean anything, but here we go. So we had defeated the monster thingy and it had disappeared or something. And now we have to read side one. I'm going to put this on top of my player sheets and hopefully not mess anything up. Read side one of the Law of Bargains story card, and yeah, that's what it says. So here we go. We're going to show some photo picture stuff so you can see the art. Boom, boom, boom. That's a little better. And here we go. This is the Law of Bargains, Part 1A. Bargains. Let's pop open our audio thing. It says, please wait. So this picture, you can't really see it. I mean, it's a whole bunch of people dragging. It looks like they're dragging the Argo. Like we're dragging the Argo across the sand because our lives basically suck. Story card 1A. Here we go. Ready? Bum bum bum.
Pandora built a tower that holds all the curses. To topple it, you need to find it, and to find it, you need to speak with the cursed ruler of Persia. Before you can even face him, you need to stop the Empire from crushing and swallowing you whole by becoming recognized by it under the law of bargains. In the land thrice cursed, all kneel to this law, even the king. As the Argo sails through the sands, deeper into the Eternal Empire, you know you need to familiarize yourself with its rules too. Not to kneel, to bend. Use it against them and buy yourselves time to search for Xerxes.
Oh, so Xerxes is the ruler of Persia, not King Midas. Okay. G2K. Good to know. All right, so we have to collect progress and submit to the law of bargains. I have already, before this, created the Cycle 4 exploration deck using cards 1 to 6, 8, 9, 19, 23, and 27 to 37 because that's not annoying. Then I am taking the 3 Cycle 4 map cards, 29, 52, and 74, and I'm going to randomly choose one of them and return the rest. Now I want to see if the app itself lets me do that. No, it's going to have me choose a starting tile. So I have no way of exiting that screen. So we're going to have to go ahead and do this now. We're going to find out if we are going to be in 29, which seems to be the Aristotelians, 74, which seems to be the Wasters, or 52, which seems to be the Cloud Thieves. And I believe, if I'm correct, but I can't check it in the app, that it was the Cloud Thieves that we had started dealing with originally. Yeah, we're going to find out. We are going to find out where we are starting our adventure, and this decision is going to decide whether we win or lose the campaign. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so we are ending up in 52, which is the Cloud Thieves. That's kind of the one we wanted. That's excellent. So we are going to choose one. We're going to place this card on the table. So let's see our beautiful art for this card. This is this is our starting position on the Sea of Sands. Now, what kind of sucks about this card has progress on it, but we're not going to get that progress because we're not moving on to it this turn. We're starting here. Here is going to be our beginning spot. And then we're going to put our Argo on it. Boop, here's the Argo. This is our ship. It is the size of two large cities, and this is what two large cities looks like. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put that there. So we got some statues on that space. We can go north or east to get some more cloud thieves. We can go south to get some Aristotelians. Ooh, we're supposed to always check everything for hidden numbers in this game, but I don't see any on here. I wouldn't expect there to be on the starting tile. And there we go. There we are. Okay. I'm getting so many freaking notifications from HP trying to get me to use Internet Explorer, and I'm not happy. All right. We have placed the chosen card on the timetable. Which one? Which one did we choose? I forgot the number. 52. Okay, so in the app, we're going to write starting tile 52, and we are going to explore it because it's considered explored. Okay, so we are there. Then on timeline, we are going to mark timeline 00 for the to mark that we are on day 0. And we have to remember there's going to be an Inward Odyssey 61 at the end of the next phase, whatever that phase is, how this is working. I guess it's after this thing goes back to the voyage phase. So we're going to have to do the first Inwards Odyssey as well. Oh, no, it says proceed to the first step of the campaign round. Okay, which is, I don't remember these things. So that's the movement step. But we're not moving. Read this. Read side 1A. Then read side 1A of this. Research is structural technology. Finally gain the law of particles. I'm a little confused here. I'm unsure because the card says proceed to the first step of the campaign round, which is the movement step. But this text keeps saying to read other things. So I don't know if we get to move on this turn or not. I think it's going to be easier to not. I think it's going to be easier to not cheat if we move now and explore now because I know there's a reason for this. Because we can always just not move on a future turn if I find out that was wrong. So this says proceed to the first step of the campaign round. I'm going to take that to mean that I am supposed to move the Argo to an adjacent map tile and then mark. Oh, no, 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 no. Mark the empty box on the timeline as the timeline step. So proceed to the first of the campaign. I don't think we're supposed to. Okay, I changed my mind. We're not supposed to move. We're not moving. We're not supposed to move. That's what I'm going with. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, next thing on here is ceaseless aggression. As long as you are on story card 1A at the start of each timeline battle, add one random curse trait. So I have found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential curse traits in the box, and I have sleeved them and shuffled them. If there's more than 6 and I messed up, somebody please tell me. Thanks. Thanks for telling me. Okay, great. Next, acclamation note. The first acclamation, which is on day 18, is tied to the law of bargains. You cannot acclimate your exploration deck as long as you are on story card 1A. If you advance the timeline to the second acclamation while still on story 1A, you lose the campaign. See the Baron Aeon special event. Each time you gain progress, you can place one progress token on this card. When there are 5 or more on this card during the story step, go read a thing. So we already have 1 on here because we gained 1 at some point during that first story. So we only need 4 more in the next 18 days, which should be really easy, I would think, but I'm scared because this says the things it says. Okay, now we're going to read card 1A of the Delusions of Grandeur. And we're going to show this picture here. We've got a giant elefante because we're in Persia, so there's a giant elephant. Okay, let's read that card in the story. So we're going to go back here. Doom card 1A. Da, 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 da. Here we go.
Beyond the law of bargains, there is only death.
There's an echo.
The instant you recover from the battle with the phantasmal tower, another one begins. One not of arms and violence, but of trade and attrition. A slow, methodical grinding into fine dust, indistinguishable from the Persian wastes. The Eternal Empire aims to cripple you economically, so that you stand no chance of facing its ruler, the God King Xerxes. They have not heard of you, it seems.
Which is a little odd that they haven't heard of me, being that all four of my Argonauts have been sun-kissed to the sun domain, and these are four new people who were asleep at the time and had nothing to do with anything. But sure, there's some special rules for delusions of grandeur. When there are five or more doom tokens when there are five doom tokens on this card, flip it to side 1B and put excess doom tokens on side 1B. Doomed investment. Each time you gain a progress token, you may place it on this card instead of the story card. When there are 3 progress tokens on this card, make one doomed investment tally mark and draw a random wished gear card from secret deck 11. And those are gear that you can only use for like 2 battles and then they disappear. Note, if you flip this card, all of the progress tokens on it are lost. Now, I don't know why I would bother doing all of that, but I guess I will die on my first time on a timeline battle if I don't have some wished gear at the beginning, but we'll see how all that goes. We also have the Inwards Odyssey here, which is a nice dark ship in the night. And this one says, as you sail through the thrice cursed lands of Persia, your knowledge of the city ship grows, illusions are dispersed, and a final course is charted. So as we get things on there, we will do more with that. Next, we get to research a structural technology as indicated by day 0 on the timeline. So we have 3 potential technologies that we can research here. The first is curse exchange. I'm gonna. This is curse exchange. Curse exchange. There is great wealth made here on the misery of others. This will unlock plutocratic diplomacy, agents, merchants of the waste, and sandstorm navigation. If I unlock this in the thrice cursed land of Persia, everything has a price, and for a while you can afford to pay it. When you're in a city, you can gain 1 Argo Fate to lose 1 Babylonian debt. You can gain 1 Argo Fate and 1 Babylonian debt to gain 1 crew or 1 hull. And if you have more than 10 SO marks, you can use this on Oasis tiles. I didn't pull out all of the other cards to see what stuff this leads to, so we're just going to go based off of what we have here. Next, we have the Law Mora. Here is the Law Mora. Okay. The Empire's bureaucratic threat must not be underestimated. Our negotiators have been thoroughly briefed on local trade customs. With this, you can gain 1 Argo Fate whenever you are about to gain Babylonian debt during the voyage or adventure phase, and you can lower this gain by 1 if you succeed at that test. So I'm really bad at these dice rolls, so I probably won't take that. But that will lead us to Curse Economy Basics, Persian Investigations, and Sustainable Oasis, which are all probably useful. So maybe I should check all these other cards before I move on. Next, we have Superior Titan Breeding. There we go. So Superior, what's that? Superior Titan Breeding. Though the paradox at the center of Delphi has been obviated, it irreversibly changed some of your Titan strains. And that your time in Delphi showed you the only way was forward. Here you can lose 1 Dreamwalker Titan to note a returner or sender or Dawnburner event on the timeline 10 days from now. When you resolve it, you gain 1 of those Titans. Now I already have I don't have any Dreamwalker Titans to utilize that with, so it doesn't seem like a great idea at the time. But what we're going to actually do here is we're going to take a look, and I'm not going to show all the art and read all the flavor text, but we're going to see what all of the things that these could lead to are going to happen next. So if I get the Lawnmower, it's going to be this. I'm just going to take some of these things and put them on little islands here, just so we can try to get a better idea of what is smart to take. Got this. Okay. So Firstly, if we take that Titan one, which we probably won't take, the next thing that that leads to is something that, oh, it increases our Argo ability limit to 5. So that's huge because we'll get a whole extra Argo ability. So that just became a whole lot more important than it was before. All right. If we unlock, I'm going to go right to left. If we unlock Law Mora, which is the thing that gives us the ability to save, the things we can get of that one is we can lose 2 Babylonian debt and add an extra random curse trait to the next battle, which sucks. You can also lose 2 priests to make 1 Argonaut lose a curse affliction. That might be good. Persian Investigations is gain 1 Argo to re-roll your adventure hub table, or gain 1 Babylonian debt to choose the hub instead, and that's pretty awesome. And finally, Sustainable Oasis. At an Oasis, you can lose 1 Argo or gain 1 Babylonian debt to lose 2 Argo. If you have 6 or more so marks, you can gain 1 Argo to gain 1 Titan. Okay, these are all good. Under Curse Exchange, first of all, one of the things on here you have to explore 10 or more map tiles for first. So that means we wouldn't be able to get this. I'm on the wrong page here. Yeah. Which means, no, that's the right page. Which means we would not be able to get this until day 10. So that's going to be after we do 2 timeline fights, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Uh, that would let you gain 1 curse to ignore the effects of a specific exploration card that we haven't seen yet. Oh, this also is needed. This is needed to get the thing that I got really excited about, the thing that raises the Argo fate. So we cannot increase Argo fate until after day 10 anyway. So the superior Titan breeding is out. This is not the one we are going to choose. We're not going to choose that one. Let's put that over here. Put that over here. Next, these other things we have, these all only need curse exchange. One of them would let us lose 6 cycle 4 mortal resources to gain 1 Argo fate to gain 1 diplomacy with any faction. We love that. Then we have negotiation, gain 1 Argo fate and lose 1 diplomacy with any other faction to gain 1 diplomacy with the local faction and lose 1 Babylonian debt. What is our Babylonian debt at? Because I think I had like, yeah, we only have 1 right. Sounds like Babylonian debt is pretty much as bad as Argo fate. And finally, we have one that will add an extra trader card to the exploration deck, and we can gain 1 Babylonian debt to draw 2 exploration cards at a city. Choose one and discard the other. If the card gives you resources or Titans, resolve it. Otherwise, you can discard it without effect. Oh, it's just a way to get like extra stuff. Um, Based on everything that we're seeing, I think. Oh, I don't know. I think we'll save. You gain 1 to stop gaining the Babylonian debt, which is not as effective as just being able to gain 1 and lose 1 on Curse Exchange. We're going to have to eventually get through Curse Exchange to get all of these other things. So I believe the choice that I'm making, and this is kind of what we've learned with this game, is it's almost an illusion of choice with these things because you end up getting them all anyway, but whatever. We are going to choose to give ourselves Curse Exchange. So technology, project list, curse exchange. Yes. So that is going to take, it's going to add plutocratic agents, merchants of the ways, plutocratic democracy, and sandstorm navigation to our pool of developable ones. And we're going to take this card and we're going to put this card inside of my little binder here that lets me organize my cards and see them all more easily, which is not on camera, and that's fine because this game is huge. There's too much going on in this game. Um, I don't even know where to put this because these things are all of this proposed. Great. So we have researched 1 level 0 technology. Only took us 20 minutes. Next, the battle with the battle with the Babylon. The battle with the battle with the Babylonian lunacy has revealed a flaw in your combat doctrine, mobility. So we each got these Hermes grappling hooks that are attachments, and they're going to let us have Hermes move one, or we can exhaust it to use Hermes move two. And each Titan can have three attachments. So every Titan currently has two attachments. They have their Cryptex, which is required for this cycle, and now they also have their grappling hooks. So they can only get one more. So our friend Almorios with his logic breaker, his cyclopean hand mirror, that's it. That's all he can get. And that is not a paradox, so he can keep it. There's absolutely nothing on here that prevents him from using it, even though it doesn't say ascended. So it is just there and it's very happily in his care. So basically, what Hermes movement allows us to do is basically move like knights on the battlefield without worrying about our movement as long as we land on a tower. And we'll show more of that the first time it comes up in an encounter. And finally, I have gained the Law of Bargain story card 1A cipher card. It says you don't need to do anything with it. Now, this is another one of these. It's a little murky to me what the intention here is. Like, am I supposed to be able to look at it now? It just says don't look at a card unless instructed to gain a card. So I'm gonna say that I gained this card so that we can take a look at it together. And on the back of it, it says the law of bargains, and you'll see there's a bunch of scribbly gobble on the bottom. So we have to translate this card. And it says the God King granted his people the law of bargains, so the senseless bloodshed over the petty squabbles could end, for he saw them as more than fire. So I think that word is supposed to be Typhon, which means that they are telling us what one of the symbols of the cryptic language is. So we're going to go to Babylonian language here. We're going to add a symbol here. And this is going to be if this had one of these and then maybe two of the back pointy ones. And nope, that was backwards. So this goes backwards. Hold on. Refresh. So that is if this had two of the back pointy ones and one of the upside down ones. Nope, that's still went in the opposite direction. It's wrong. No, no. Ah, you flip it that way. I'm doing all of this off camera, and that's probably not wise. So here's what we have here. We have this app, and it lets us put in the code. I'm going to say that I know that this is the letter T, and that lets me do a little thing here. But what does this do? I don't understand what anything on this map does. Okay, so I can start putting the glyphs in and then try to translate what the thing says. And if that has a nope, I can only do blanks. Okay, what is this? This has a pen, but I don't know what the pen does. Oh, I don't know what happened. Something happened. Okay. Save. Okay, so that's starting to translate a thing. Plus, no. I don't understand how I'm supposed to write the code in this book, but I'm able to save that thing. So I know there's going to be other letter T's in here, but also like I don't know enough about this language to know what those things are yet. So we're going to take this cipher card. Where are we going to save these? We're going to save these in our little book somewhere. So we're going to put them in the armory is where we're going to save these ciphers. Okay. You don't need to do anything else with it. Proceed to the end step of the voyage phase. Okay. So end step of the voyage phase is if you're on an unexplored tile, it simply becomes explored. That means if you're already on an unexplored tile, nothing happens. So I think that we skipped all of these phases, so I don't get to do my inwards Odyssey until after the movement step of day one, which is fine because we're now on day one, which is the movement step. So we're going to want to keep ourselves in a cloudy domain. Oh, you know what I should be doing? I should be putting these cards upside down here. So we want 43. We want 43 and we want 53 and we want 61. All right. So this is going to show us what other directions we can go in. So if we go north to 61, there will still be two more ways we can go that are cloud spirits. If we go east, it's all cloud spirits from east. If we go south, it's only to the east. So we want to stay solidly within cloud spirit land for now, and that's the only reason I'm choosing what I'm choosing here. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to move the Argo to an adjacent tile. Um, I don't know, I'm gonna. It's been so long since I've done this. It's been months. So I'm gonna really go super duper slow through here to make sure I'm doing everything the right way. Okay, so we moved in the direction, and we are going to place this tile on the board. So here is our new tile. We're gonna have an adventure hub here, and a whole bunch of stuff's gonna happen. So that's gonna be pretty cool. So we're putting this here. And we're putting ourselves here. So I guess we just drag ourselves around this map, and there's really no place that we're not allowed to go. But I'm not really sure. I do not. I do not see any issues on that other than our little Argo tile, and we're going to take some other tiles to put around it. We're going to put we're going to so that we know in the future. We're going to have tile 44 here and tile 54 here and tile 62 here. Now, usually when I played the first three cycles by myself, I put all of this map stuff on a side table instead of on here. So it's going to just be a little bit more time consuming for me to plop all this stuff around, but whatever. It's totally fine. Everything's great. Let me have a sip of coffee because I'm about to fall asleep. I was up late last night because of the show. And then I worked today, even though I took today off because I always do. And then I had to go pick up a casserole dish for my friend to cook. And then I had to cook. And then I took the dogs to the dog park. And there's a bunch of dirty dishes in the sink. And I elected to do this instead because I only have the spoons for one. That mattered to all of you so much, I can tell. We moved the Argo miniature to the next tile. Now, there's a thing here that I almost forgot, which is Pandora's Jar. Um, So imitate after you move the Argo, move the Babolian lunacy to any space adjacent to the one you're currently occupying. So this thing, so I chased the tower away, and now the tower grows, and it's just going to follow me around everywhere I go, and it's always going to be on the horizon. And this is has no mechanical effect. It is forever there, growing and spiting me. Cool, great to know. We're just gonna face it this way so you can all see the eye. Can you see the eye on the big video? I can't tell. I mean, you can kind of see it poking out the bottom there, right? Yeah, sure, sure. Why not? Sure, 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 Greg. Yes, sure, 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 yes, sure. Okay. So we've moved. We would have placed the last city token if there was a last city token, and then we are going to mark the next empty box on the timeline, which is 001. So I'm gonna move. Oh, this is when we should read Inward Odyssey because we have finished the movement step and the timeline step. So before we go on to the exploration step, I believe this is when we would read Inward Odyssey 61 Daybreak. So let's find that in here. This book is so big. There's so many things in here. Inward Odyssey 61 Daybreak. Okay. Let's find some story. Inward Odyssey, Guardians of Infinite Growth, 61 Daybreak. Here we go. There's usually a lot of words in these Inward Odyssey ones, so be prepared.
Do not weep for them. On the Acropolis deck, freshly scraped of debris, though still beaten and charred, and warped by the time front, the crew gathers to send off the Argonauts who have gone to the sun's domain in Delphi, and all the others who gave their lives on the Argo that day. Sky lanterns soar to the stars, a fragile trail for the souls of the departed to follow. For they are now at peace, the old priest continues. having gone above and beyond what could ever be asked of a mortal. There is a certain feeling in the air, wistfulness mixed with anticipation and a hint of anxiety. Will you live up to the legacy of your predecessors? I know this with absolute certainty because, he lingers, because I know whom they had to face. He clears his throat, looks up, gazes across the gathered. Helios, an Olympian. A murmur of disbelief spreads across the crowd. But now the floodgates are open and the story flows freely, like blood from a mortal wound. A twisted god that survived the eschaton, perched up high above the world, looking down on his faithful, cherishing their misery, all the while tightening the noose, the loop that suffocated Delphi. Cruel, unscrupulous, pitiless. That we stand here today is a testament of those Argonauts and Titans' victory over him, and of their sacrifice. They triumphed, even though I failed them. His voice breaks. I knew for some time, and I did not warn them. I have failed to learn the lessons of Crete. I've let fear steer me. I feared that ingrained devotion to the divine, to old authority, would make them, you, hesitate. And hesitation would have been our undoing. I have failed to learn the lessons of Crete, of unyielding hope and trust in my fellow crew. I will never doubt your dedication again, and I will be forever grateful to those who fought for us on that day. You should too. They bought us daybreak. The memorial service continues in a more traditional manner into the early hours of the morning, with many coming forward to speak on behalf of those no longer with them. You don't know how to feel about this. Was the old priest right to withhold information? Or would you have wanted to know? Were you in the place of those who went up there in the Phoenicos?
Each Argonaut will decide for themselves. Um, uh, right. So each Argonaut will decide if they had the right to know what they were signing up for, and they'll get one rage, or the gods were everything to the people of Hellas to feel a divine father's caress one more time. You'd be lying to yourself if you said it wouldn't have made you flinch, and you can gain one Memnos card for the Memnos card with the least amount of nodes. We're all just going to accept our fate and go ahead and get the Memnos nodes going. So yeah, yeah. Which one of these do I rather have? Yeah, yeah. So that's just four Memnos nodes there. I cheated and I looked ahead and I see that almost all of these inwards Odyssey things have cipher stuff. So I guess like there's all this stuff that you're not meant to be able to decipher until your second playthrough, because I believe you can't do whatever it would say when you encounter it. But we'll figure out how we're going to deal with all that later on. Anyway, back to, okay, so we're going to do the exploration step. So first we would resolve any exploration symbols, which would be if there was doom or progress, but there isn't. And then we are going to do the exploration step where we are going to reveal two cards from this deck of doom. They're almost never good. Well, a lot of them are good, but usually I have bad luck is what it comes down to. So first we have Titan. Simple enough. Titan. Come on. Come on. Titan. Gain one Titan. Or, come on. Or if we were friendly, you would gain one rage as a group. So we're gonna put that over there because we have to draw another one because I had to draw another one card on it. Here we go. We have already the Cloud Thieves Skiff, which is going to do something based on our um, alignment with them, and luckily we're neutral, so it's not going to be as bad as it might have been otherwise. Next, we have the Babylonian Ruins. This is going to give us a resource, and then we only have to get one more stop deck thing. If we had the adversary out, that would have been giving us adversary movement, but we don't. And then finally, an Imperial Outpost over here, and that's going to give us one Imperial Scroll. So all the things that we get to do are as follows. We get to gain one Persian Dreamwalker Titan. That's funny because the Titan breeding says, oh, it's a Persian Dreamwalker, right? So maybe I should have gotten that because we would have been able to trade one off already, but whatever, it's fine. Next card is we are neutral, so every Argonaut gains 2 fate. Each and every one of them. And our friend, who was using a lot of fate last time? Do we remember? I think it was Akatasios. Akatasios is reminded of one of his friends who died because once per session somebody can lose a fate, so he's only going to get one. Is how we're doing it. So everybody gets 2, except for uh, Actus, who gets 1 because he was reminded of one of the Sun-Kissed people. When I was flipping back through the book before during the Inwards Odyssey, it is specifically because I was like trying to remember that mechanic and was very confused and lost. So everybody gets 2 fates except for him. And my plan is until I really know what's going on with these monsters, I'm just going to keep the loadouts that I did before, even though they're probably not great. This card is removed until the next timeline battle, so we're going to pop that over there off to the side. And then we're going to get 1 Babylonian contraption and 1 Imperial scroll. So, what is this? Oh no, that's on this page. 1 Babylonian contraption, 1 Imperial scroll. You might be able to build something. We'll see. All right. So we've done that. That is the exploration step. Now we go to the expedition step where we would trigger an adventure hub, and there is indeed an adventure hub on this space. So we didn't get the special adventure hub card, so we're going to just roll randomly on this. My book moved. We're going to roll randomly on this table at the start of the book. Oh, look, it's the fight against Helios that we just heard about from the end of cycle 3. Okay, here is our hub table. So there's only 3 hubs open to us on 1B, and then 4th one opens up. There are 3 on 1A. Another one opens up on 1B. Another one opens up on 2. On 3, the first hub goes away, and another one opens up, and then on 3B we lose all of the first 3, and we go into the ones towards the end for 3B and 4B, 4A, 4B. That was a lot of words that really meant nothing to any of y'all, but I was saying them for myself, and we have rolled 3, which is the Salt Road. This also means that our next battle is going to have, our next timeline battle is going to have a Wish Storm in the inner 3. And now we are going to go to the Salt Road on page 55. And our first storyline here is going to be Gilded Fundament. And that is going to give us a Memnos node on everything that's a tragedy. So our friend Namanomenos is going to get 1 for unearned life. That is our only tragedy one, so we're only getting 1 node out of that, which is not the best, but sure. And then we're going to go to the story, which is Adventure Hubs and the Salt Road and Gilded Fundament. And here we go.
The golden palace shines like a beacon in the desert sun, its reflected light blinding to mortal eyes. And there, in its shadow, a shanty town spreads like a fungus, far more decrepit and makeshift than the glimmering splendor above. You move through these dusty streets, keeping a low profile. People of Ekbatana! An army officer of some kind stands astride a stack of crates, her armor functional, yet dull and worn. You are being taken advantage of. The Eternal Empire is using you to prop itself up, while you are given next to nothing.
Such harsh criticisms from a stranger in our lands.
Clad in garish yellow robes, face hidden behind a smiling bronze mask, the Bablos, an imperial official, seems to appear from nowhere.
Who are you to make such accusations, outsider?
I am Eleneas, Justiciar of the Aristotelian Expeditionary Force. The soldier
I'm
declares
gonna stop
boldly.
doing that. It's distracting.
We have come here to free these people from under the boot of your regime.
Free them.
The masked face tilts quizzically.
But they are free. They work honestly for their crust. In truth, the work we grant them is a gift, not an obligation. If we so wished, we could have the Imperial Jinns summon the wares we require, but then how would these good people earn their living?
Indeed, Elena snaps. Maybe you should let these almighty Jinns do all the work then. Leave the common people in the dust, with nothing to do and lose. So much free time and unprocessed anger on their hand. See how that pans out for you.
Interesting. So, one of the things that I should have done is shown the art at the start of this story, which is a whole bunch of Jin just chilling, Jin some Jin chilling, some Jin chilling, Jin chilling, Jin chilling, Jin chilling. So I always have so much trouble trying to understand what's going on in these stories, especially when I'm tired. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Her second story seems a little weird, but anyway, the least likely Argonaut is going to gain the third wish Memnos. So our least likely Argonaut right now is Acti. Our friend Acti Stasios is going to get where did I put these? The third wish Memnos card, and here it is. The third wish. You save the best for last. This gives you the ability to get wish armor, which is probably going to be nice. Oh, and that had tragedy on it. He would have gotten some tragedy. How sad. Okay, the third wish. Boom. There we go. And then we have to make a choice. So we have two choices to make. One is if the Bablos is keeping wish granting Jinns hidden away from the people, then she is purposefully keeping them down. Remove the Bablos' leverage, and all can benefit from the gifts of the Jinns equally. We will support the Justiciar. We would gain one Babylonian debt, and the Aristotelians will get diplomacy +1. But we're working for the Cloud Thieves first. Remember, I learned my lesson from cycle 3, and we want to get the first thing to ally that we can as fast as possible. So if we have a choice for Cloud Thieves, we're going to take it, even if I personally disagree with it. Number 2, the Bablos is the one holding the keys to the police. You need her on your side. Her regime may be more exploitative, but she does have a point. The system as it stands keeps people working, driven, and full of purpose. What the Justiciar suggests sounds a lot like inciting bloodshed. We will support the Bablos. The Cloud Thieves will get diplomacy +1, and the Aristotelians -1. And that is based on the very first choice that we made, the way we are going to stick with and go. We are going to lower the Aristotelians by 1 and increase the Cloud Thieves by 1. So that brings our diplomacy totals right now to -2 Aristotelians, -1 Wasters, +2 Cloud Thieves, and we are going to see 002. 002 story. Boom. Boom.
People here work for their living. The more pragmatic of your party chimes in. It may not be much, but it is better than starving in the desert. In a land so devastated, we must accept whatever opportunities are extended to us. The crowd begins to nod along with you. Theirs is not a great lot in life, but it is more than others. So why should they risk it for this foreign agitator? Elenius, however, is not so ready to accept defeat. Her features flush scarlet, and you realize she is on the brink of doing something ill-advised. Fools, she mutters. No, I refuse to believe anyone can accept this way of life. Even death is preferable to these golden chains. The golden mean says, either all shall share in the wealth, or all shall share in its loss. You become aware of numerous figures among the crowd, clad in bronze and leather armor, in a similar state to the Justiciars. Aristotelians, ready to spark a fire that will surely burn the police's heart. The Bablos remains unfazed.
This will not end the way you think, Outlander.
Ugh, I can't believe I've sided with capitalism and the police. The police. Get it? Police, police versus Jeb. But I've somehow sided with capitalism instead of socialism, and it's gonna. I'm gonna hate myself this entire game, but I'm sticking to learning my lessons from previous cycles. So we have to choose three things. One is, while clearly her emotions and devotion to the Aristotelian ideology have blinded her, from what you have seen, the Justiciar is a logical and well educated individual. Surely she will listen to reason. We must talk to her before a riot breaks out. This will give us one diplomacy with her, minus one diplomacy with the wasters. It will also give us plus one progress, which means the next paragraph will probably be something very bad. Number two, Elanaeus is a bright-eyed ideologue, but a lot of her ragtag people might not be. A suitable ferrying of goods can dull their blade. For those that have something to lose are less eager to throw their lives away. That is how the empire tries to keep their citizens in check, you realize, with yay, capitalism. Try to bribe the Justiciar, that will give us plus one diplomacy with the wasters, minus one with the Aristotelians, and we'll subtract one Babylonian debt, but we only have one so far, so that's not so big of a deal. Number three, bloodshed seems inevitable, and the Bablos welcomes it. Either she has something planned, is a great actor, or counts on you to step in. If it's the latter, she will be sorely disappointed. You will not become enforcers of an impressive system. You will, as always, stand by the just side. Perhaps the momentum of an uprising will grant the people a better lot. Encourage the townsfolk to stand by the Aristotelians against the imperial forces. This would give us a waster's diplomacy plus one, however, a cloud thieves diplomacy of minus one, and we would get plus one doom. We'd probably get the best result out of that. But again, we have made the choice as a ship. Our ship has decided. Oh, I forgot to do a thing, which is to declare a party leader. I will always declare the party leader as Omoreos unless I say otherwise for some reason, like if I feel like he's got too much of something or other. Anyway, we are going to choose option one and try to talk Elenius down before a riot breaks out. That is going to give us Aristotelians plus one, Wasters minus one, and we are going to get plus one progress, which we are going to put on the story deck because we're on a pretty strict timer with this one. Now, there's a chance, let me just drop this on here. Whoop. That's two progress. There is a chance that we might at some point start to head towards that wish armor if I feel like I'm really ahead of the curve. But for right now, I want to focus on success. And we're going to go to 0009 when something really terrible will probably happen. I always like to see what the things I wasn't going to choose are just to see how bad that would have been. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, no. Yep, that would have done a whole bunch more stuff. Oh my. Oh my. Yep. That fight would have done a whole bunch more stuff, but that is not. Wait. Something's wrong. Oh, I looked at the wrong thing. That would have done this. That would have done this. And there would have been more shit. More shit. There's a lot of shit happening here. All right. So I know I just read all that stuff to myself, which isn't useful for you in the audience, but none of it matters because that's not part of our journey. We're gonna stick to what we said we were gonna do, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to 0009. Cool.
You step forward, speaking up in support of the status quo. Elanaeus grimaces with disappointment at your stance, a flare of defiance flickering in her eyes as she brushes your warnings off and turns back to the people once more. Do not be fooled, she pleads. You do not need to serve like this. You can be free and equal. No more oligarchs.
Well,
The Bablo steps up next to her, casting a challenging gaze about.
who will be the first to lose their job and starve their children?
Silence hangs over the crowd.
No.
The Bablos turns back to the Justiciar.
You see, outsider, the people here are happy with their lot. Now be gone before my guards are forced to take action.
Elanaeus hesitates just a moment longer before, with a defeated sigh, She turns to leave. You wonder if perhaps this isn't the last the city has seen of Elenias and her followers.
And we gain 2 Argo Fate. We're now at 4 Argo Fate on day 1. So that is pretty brutal. Was I supposed to lose any? I think I might have messed something up here. Hold on, let me see. At the end of the battle with the boss, we were supposed to reset. We were supposed to remove 3 Argo Fate, and we didn't. So we should actually only be at 2 now. I did all the resources stuff. Oh, I was also supposed to add the Babelian lunacy sighting technology card to my projects, which I didn't do. So let me grab that. Now, I don't really have any of the requirements to make that usable yet, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Oh, wait, we need to add that to the project list. Plus, wait. Oh, I was wrong. Hold on with it. Sorry. I'm gonna see. Project list. Add. So I need to have Imperial Deprived Armorer, Grassroots Project, and either Midas Core or Demigen Live Study before I can make this. So it told me to add this to my deck, but there's really no way for me to make it yet. But I forgot that. I forgot reducing the Argo Fate. Everything else I should be solid on. I was very tired at the end of the game the last time. That's what happens. No, we are not yet done with this story hub yet. We are still going to another paragraph.
In the days following the Aristotelian failed bid for power, you spent some time helping the Bablos, Jasmine, restore order. With the ruler of the city in your debt, you push her to show the Imperial Djinns she so proudly boasted about. Initially, she tries to wriggle out of the situation, but eventually relents. The vision of becoming even more indebted too horrific to consider, and leads you to the palace's inner sanctum. What you find there is nothing. The palace, while opulent, is largely empty, save for a few machinae operated by chained deprived, the 4-armed giants bound into service to the Empire. There never was a Djinn. She never had access to a wish granter. Why lie? The party leader asks. Because the people need motivation. Bablos shrugs. The thought of being replaced keeps them productive. You might think it cruel, she adds, but the resources of this city are not infinite, are actually quite spent, like the wakeful Djinns who became the deprived. When the people, given the chance, impose impossible demands, the city functions only because the people believe the story they're told.
So I have to make a reef tally mark. And there's a place for that on the sheet here. But I don't think that's going to be where we do that. There's a section here that says here. Oh, I'm going to add a tally for reap, and we're making a reap tally mark. Now there's a whole set of rules about reap, I believe. It says to make a reap tally mark. It's a type of delayed penalty. You don't lose anything immediately. You have to note a loss or gain of X, which will be one of the main stats on the timeline 5 days from now. When you make a reap save, if you fail, you need to add another reap event 5 days from that day. For example, reap whole means you have to put -1 whole on the time, but it doesn't say what. I mean, it just says to make a reap tally mark. So I think that affects those things, but isn't specific. Oh. Choosing a reward has a secondary effect. You put a tally mark. They're just marks. What do they entail? I don't know. I don't know what it entails. Okay. But I also do get another inward Odyssey. So we're going to read the next inward Odyssey paragraph um, uh, before we move on to the next step after this. So there's going to be even more story in this session. I thought this session was going to be very short leading into the next battle, but it turns out not so much. All right, we're going to read more.
I'm surprised you came clean about it.
Came clean.
Badlow's Jasmine bursts into jocular laughter.
I have made you my accomplices. Tell the people, see how the city tears itself apart. Something you just tried to avoid. Or remain silent and become complicit. That is how the system works. Nothing personal, Argonauts.
So now we have another choice. Option one, such a meticulously built trap. For ones who think like the Bablos, you do not. The people should know there are no jinn here. What they do with that is up to them. You might even say nothing personal. Damn, Bablos. Reveal the truth to the people and face the consequences. That will raise our wasters' diplomacy and lower our cloud thieves' diplomacy. But as we know, we are a capitalist ship and we are garbage people. Next, the Bablos presents it as a binary choice, but a choice is never binary. You'll keep this secret, save the city from chaos, but the Bablos will need to grant you some considerations. We'll demand payment in exchange for our silence that will increase our cloud thieves' diplomacy, lose one more waster's diplomacy, and we'll get an extra titan, which is important because we're about to have a bunch of titans die, most likely. And we're capitalists. Number three, the scheme is unsavory, but it binds both ways the Bablos had not considered. If you can't reveal the truth, you will lie more. You will make enemies of both the Empire and the Aristotelians, but you refuse to be put in a corner. You will reshape the secret to give the wasters a better working condition. This will give the wasters diplomacy +1, Aristotelians -1, and subtract 2 Argo fate. But I've only got 2 Argo fate, so I'm not so worried about that. So I'm going to continue on my path of capitalism. We're going to raise the cloud thieves up to 3. We're almost friendly with them on day 1 already, and we are going to lower the wasters by 1. They are getting close to denounced already. They kind of hate us, and we're going to get another titan. So we probably should have done that thing where we would have been able to add extra titans to the timeline because we're getting them left and right here, and we're going to see paragraph number 13.
Chaos is bad for business, says the party leader with a wry smile. It's much cheaper to pay to maintain order. The Bablos removes her gilded mask to show you a smile of admiration, the highest honor. Unscrupulous, you will fit right in. There was no way you'd keep silent without a hefty toll, and perhaps that was what she had hoped for from the start. Not only accomplices now, but trade partners. A deal is brokered, many valuable insights about the surrounding desert provided. In exchange, you say nothing of what you have seen within the palace, and are soon back aboard the Argo, the city receding in the distance behind you. You spare a final thought to the workers trapped there, still held under the shackles the false tale of the Jinn creates, but at least they have work, purpose, and order. Without something to anchor the city's fates to, it would sink into the sands and be lost, along with all those who rely upon it. At least, that's what you tell yourselves.
And we gain a doom. I believe I have a way to try to stop that with a dice roll that's going to be terrible. Hope logic should still work. I can gain 1 Argo fate and roll a die. And if I get an 8, 9, or 10, I will avoid this doom. So we're going to go ahead and do that because I know a timeline battle is coming, and we're going to reduce that in a second. So let's see if we can avoid this doom. We rolled a 3. We cannot avoid the doom. We are getting doom 1 of 5. I don't know why that was like supposed to be like a minor key version of the Final Fantasy success music because it was totally not a success. And we're gonna take this little Doom token here, and we're gonna plop it right there onto our Doom track. And we now return to the voyage phase. We're gonna do Inwards Odyssey before we move on because I believe I just want to double check this to make sure I'm correct. I think Inward Odyssey is always at the end of the current step, not during the story step. But let me just double check that before I break anything. Inwards Odyssey, page 7. I always forget everything. There's so much in this game. Each time you get, you unlock the next adventure from the Inward Odyssey chapter of your current story, but you resolve this at the end of your current step. So yes, so that's going to trigger before we go on. That's going to trigger before we move on to the encounter step. So we're still in the expedition step, and we are going to do Inwards Odyssey 62. Polyphemos. Polyphemos? Poly. Polyphy. Polyphiny. Polyphemos. Polyphemos. Here we go.
Argonauts! The old priest accosts you, then leads you deep inside the Argo, to the chamber where the fallen carcass of the sun descendant is being stored. It is at once grotesque and pitiful, and innocent after a fashion. Knowing this was not your true enemy, that there was this other, older, more sinister force, it makes you feel small and helpless. As if sensing your apprehension, the old priest says, "These are terrible things you have to face out there. No mortal should be asked to do this."
Nobody asked us. We volunteer.
The party leader assures him with an honest smile, but the old priest winces. You wade between the many limp wings of the primordial, hanging down like meat in a slaughterhouse, through corridors of feathers, until you reach an enclosed space, quiet, eerily so. You can't even hear the hum of the Aeolipile engines. "I, too, made a sacrifice in Delphi." He turns to you, and you realize he has taken you to this remote part of the Argo, shielded from all eyes and ears, to disclose a secret. "I uprooted the Balaneon to give your predecessors a fighting chance. In so doing, I destroyed it, and revealed myself to the gods, living and dead."
Ruh-roh.
As soon as he says it, you have a vague recollection of a prayer whimpered, more a feeling than a memory. It was just before you were awakened from the mausoleum.
Hear me, Poseidon, dog-dressed earth-bearer.
The old priest nods. Long ago, Poseidon cursed a man to be lost at sea and to never return home to his family. I am that man, Odysseus.
We knew it!
There it is, Odysseus. How do
We
you
knew it!
even react? Poseidon is dead, the old priest, Odysseus, declares, finality ringing in every enunciated syllable. I have seen it. His face darkens. He was vile. He spits the words with disgust. Made mortals do to mortals unspeakable things. Unspeakable. I regret nothing. He
Good for you,
sighs,
Odysseus.
anger receding. That his curse would outlive him and find me here, in this most desolate of places. He shakes his head. Now I am become the very obstacle in your way. I thought you deserved to know why you are stuck here. He turns away and looks up at the spiraled body of the sun descendant, shimmering like the night sky. If my death would warrant your release, I would accept it gladly. It does not. He sighs. Ah, I miss home so damn much.
So during the next Pandora Horizon battle, so the next battle against the boss, if it is your turn, you may shout, "It is I who blinds you!" And you may immediately provoke the Babylonian lunacy once per Argonaut. So everybody can get a free provoke action in that next fight. That's pretty cool. Now, when you heard that thing go, that was the language from the Babylonian cipher that we can't translate right now. What's probably going to happen is in like 15 months when I finish this, I will just look up what all that stuff is rather than playing it a second time because again, not everybody has all the time in the world to play a hundreds and hundreds and hundreds an hour game over and over and over again. He's still talking to us, by the way.
Please continue to call me the old priest. Odysseus died with the old world. You do not need him.
I knew he must have been Odysseus the whole time. I can't believe they waited 4 freaking cycles to make that reveal, but I love that they did it right at the beginning here in like just the most like inconsequential way, which is kind of hilarious. It's probably everybody realized that by now. Okay, so that was the end of Inward's Odyssey. So we are going to go to the next step of the round, which is the encounter step. And of course, on our timeline here, we have an encounter on day one. So we're going to have to set up and that's why I thought this was going to be a really short session because I knew that was coming, but we had a whole lot of story stuff happen. So this has been a good hour and change. So what's going to happen is I don't think I'm going to play this tonight because I'm freaking tired. So it's probably going to happen tomorrow. But we are going to clear the map and we are going to set up our first battle against a timeline titan, a timeline primordial, and we're going to be fighting the Midas core, not the Jin, because I'm not stupid. But I want to show you all something. I walked the wrong way because this is what happens in my house, and I just don't have enough cameras in my house, in my apartment. But this is what's going to be super fun here is so my friend Josh, uh, enjoys painting things, and so we have here it didn't get finished before he had to give it back to me because I wanted him working on Kingdom's Forlorn stuff instead. But we have a painted Midas Core dragon. So we're gonna have some real freaking table presence for once. You see a little face on it. It's like a little less painted than the rest of it. And I love what he did with the wings. He is so far for Kingdoms Forlorn, um, gone and done Sir Ubar and Renholder, and he's currently working on the First Men Warriors and the Pumpkinhead monstrosities. And I'm just very, very grateful to have that happen. But anyway, I am going to do all of the battle setup, and then we will do the Midas Core level 1 battle the next time we play, similar in a separate video, similar to how we did the Bubellian Lunacy. I'm choosing the Midas Core because my understanding is the Demi-Jin is a evil, evil, evil bitch monkey, and so therefore we should always do the Midas core first when possible. But I am gonna go ahead and use this track, even though I use the app to do everything, to check off that we are doing Midas core 1 first. I'm gonna go ahead and make a reap mark here. What else do I think might be permanent? I only want to do permanent things. Oh, we're gonna check off the Salt Road A, and I think that's everything that we can do at this point. Like we're not going to be able to build something this time because um because we're not. So yeah, and that is it for today. In the meantime, do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, and whatever you do, keep those health bars full. Thank you, and have a great day.